Hi, my name is Dan Boyle. I am the owner of TrueMoors.com, and in this video I'm going to take you through a series of tests with actual silk fabric. 100% Mulberry silk fabric. We're going to do the burn test, which is the best way to determine if you actually have real silk. We're going to look at actually the kind of simulating the touch test, where I'm going to show you what silk looks like compared to a satin fabric, a Sally polyester fabric. And then we're also going to do the moisture test, which will be pretty interesting to see. Then we're going to look at a couple of the differences or things that you should know about silk, in case if you do order sheets from TrueMoors.com, so when you get them, you know a little bit more about what to expect when you actually open up the package and put them on your bed. They are great sheets again, and I hope you enjoy these tests, and thanks for watching this video. So what you're looking at in this case, just did burn the silk in the last little frame, and you notice it kind of burnt quickly, but if you look real closely, see if I can get this so it shows up as focused as possible, the edges, they don't fray, they actually look like they melt together. And here, I'll see if I hold this up, it might be easier. I hope you can see that as a candle in the background, but you can see the edges, they don't fray, so that's like a unique property of silk, and that's one way to determine if you have real silk. Now I'm going to burn the rest of this piece, and we're going to look at the ash, but it's really interesting to see in this case that the edges, they look like they more melt than they do actually fray like normal cloth would do. Kind of like when you cut, see here's where I cut the silk, and it's very frayed at the end. So let's go take a look at the ash. Alright, so here I've burnt a whole bunch of the silk, and it's really tough to tell, and I wish I could like have you almost reach out and touch it, but you can see that it's, actually I just might as well use my finger, it's very soft and it crumbles, and it's a very fine ash. And what's interesting is when you burn the silk too, it like sticks together, it very much sticks to the fabric, so almost like a mucus effect, what you could say. So it is interesting. This is one great way. This is the best way to determine if you have 100% pure Mulberry silk compared to any kind of silk blend, because the ash will be really hard and won't fall apart like that. And of course, when it burns, it'll fray. See, I've been actually picking at this, so you can see it'll fray as opposed to get that sticky feeling. So I hope that kind of explains to you why silk is so nice from one aspect and how to determine if you have real silk. Or obviously, if you order a set off of TrueMoors.com, we actually give you a nice piece of silk, a silk fabric that you can actually do the burn test with yourself and play around with it a little bit more. We're going to do the touch test next and look at a piece of silk compared to a piece of satin. So thanks very much, and let's go on to the touch test. Alright, in this video we're going to kind of try to simulate the touch test. And it's interesting, I have three pieces of fabric here. Obviously, you know one of these is silk. You probably already know that one is the silk because we were just burning it. And these two are satin. They're a satin polyester. So again, satin isn't an actual fabric, it's a method of weaving fabric to give it that shiny look. These are actually pajama pants, and these are shorts of my fiance's. So if you look at it, just from sheer looking at the fabric itself, you can tell there is a difference. The silk doesn't reflect light as much as the satin does. You can see the satin is much more reflective of the light compared to the silk, which is a little bit duller in its reflective nature. It almost has a deeper color, and it really does when you look at it. So what's interesting is, and I'll just touch each one so you can kind of see, but you can tell it's much airier when I kind of flick it like that compared to obviously this, which it's just a little bit firmer. That's really where the touch fabric kind of comes from, is satin polyester blends. Although they are great fabric, don't get me wrong, satin's awesome, it's very soft, but doesn't really compare to the silk, because you can tell it's much lighter. It does, see how it just kind of falls when you let it go, as opposed to the satins that just kind of keep they're firmer. And not as soft, and you can really tell the difference when you actually get all three together, the silk is considerably more softer. So I hope you kind of see the touch test just there. Although the best way to do it is get a set of silk sheets yourself, and you can do it in your own home. But thanks for watching. Let's go on to one more test, or a couple more just information about the silk sheets and what you get when you order a set of silk from TrueMoors.com. All right, this last little showcase of silk versus, in this case, we're going to just use straight up cotton. Not a super high thread count, so it may not be the best test in a way, but this right here is just a normal pair of cotton sheets. As you can tell, it's all folded up kind of messily. But a cotton sheets, and then this is the silk fabric. What we're going to do is look at how water reacts when we drip it on here. Kind of to prove the point that, you know, one great benefit of silk is the fact that it can actually absorb 33% of its weight before it actually even gets wet. Which really helps you while you're sleeping, because when you sleep and you sweat, it'll be able to whisk away that sweat to keep you cooler, to keep your body temperature more regulated, as opposed to other fabrics that when you sweat, they can't absorb it as well, and that'll make you really stuffy and get you really hot and make your body temperature go all over the place. So we're going to just show you what happens when I take a drop of water, and you see how it just kind of like keeps getting absorbed in the silk. Pretty rapidly too, and as you can tell, it's kind of hard to see in the camera, but it's still absorbing up and around the fabric. When I do that to the cotton, however, see how it kind of beads at first, and it doesn't really get absorbed as fast. It takes some more time for it to go along. And it's just interesting to see how much better it is at absorption, and obviously if you're going to sweat a humongous drop like that, it's going to get wet. So, but I hope that kind of proves the point though. Silk is really an unique and interesting fabric. It doesn't have the stigma anymore like it did in the past, and I'll talk to you about that when I kind of close this video out. But thanks for watching the moisture test. So those were all the tests and the different information. If you have any more questions, take a look at the frequently asked questions part of the page. I also have a blog at truemoors.com/blog that I try to update with interesting information. But the best way, honestly, is just to email me. Usually I respond as fast as I possibly can, usually within 24 hours. And you know, you can actually get me on the phone if you want. I'll give you my personal phone number if you email me. That way you can ask any questions and we can talk about the sheets themselves. I appreciate it. You can also take a look at bamboo sheets. These are 100% bamboo, not a blend like you will find in other places. And of course we have a great selection of satin polyester sheets, which again are great sheets, but when they compare to satin, there's really not much of a comparison, as I'm sure you've seen by now. So thanks for visiting. I really appreciate it, and I hope you use True Moors for all your luxury bedding needs.